Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with Matt Harding from Outdoor Oasis Landscapes. Matt runs a design and construction company based on the beautiful Sunshine Coast of Queensland. And it's only been in the business about, I think it's about 3 years. So new into the business, but in landscaping for about 10 years. So got some experience behind him. Something I found pretty obvious throughout the chat. It mentions a few times that he's doesn't necessarily have his goals written down, but he's got a lot of goals that he works towards. So whether that was the initial goal that he worked for when he started landscaping, because he was doing stuff that he knew he wanted to do, and then he knows the type of projects he wants to do, so he's targeting himself towards doing that. So there's a lot of good messages about that, about not just taking on any old job or working for any old landscaper, but doing the ones that you want to do more of that type of work. And also, I liked with his last employer, how he allowed him to work some half days. So it's good working for good people who realise that if someone else is going to go work for themselves, you might as well help them out. And yeah, it benefits everyone if he's working half weeks, because then he's not cutting off cold and going to work for himself. And Matt's also targeting his social media on the type of projects that he wants to do as well, because they like to work on the pool. So there's plenty of pools featuring on there. So that's another good little tip to do. So there's a couple of little tips and tricks along the way like that, and it's going to be good to see, to follow along with Matt and his business over the coming years, to see, because I think it'll be quite successful going forward. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Matt Harding. Matt, thank you very much for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. My first question for you is, how did you start in the industry?
Cheers. I was pretty much like anyone my age. We wanted to get a trade, so I was looking at anything. I just moved up to Queensland from New South Wales. I was on the Central Coast. So come up here and pretty much wanted anything, and saw a guy. I wanted to get into carpentry, but it wasn't happening. So I saw this guy advertising. It sounded sick. Went and did a day with him, and I think we built a retaining wall, and it was mad. I loved it, just being outdoors. Did 3 more days. It was like a spec home, just landscaped the backyard. I thought it was sick. I put in, we moved 10 cube of dirt by hand, and I didn't care. I just loved it. And then it got the job and did about 6 months of mowing straight. It just turned out he was a gardener. So that got me into the industry, and then sort of made me hate it. We don't do maintenance. I can't stand it, but each to their own. But yeah, so went from that, and a mate of mine was working for a structural landscaper and just doing the sickest work, like stone work and lots of building. So I started calling that guy. I just said, do you want me? Do you want me? Do you want me? And yeah, eventually he said yes. So I started up with him, moved the apprenticeship over, and yeah, stayed with him for a good 6 or 7 years, and finished the trade and worked with him for a bit. So
how old were you when you started with the first guy, and how old are you now?
I've just turned 30, so I'm now old, I feel, but I wasn't the youngest apprentice. I was probably 20, 21 when I moved up here. So I started with him almost like an adult apprentice, which was sort of good. I knew what I wanted to do and wasn't the dumbest person on site, so I could get around. But yeah, I was early 20s when I started with him.
Yep. Yeah. And who was the company that you went to after
that? So his name is Andy at Site Design Landscapes. So yeah, he's local fella to the Sunshine Coast, and yeah, he does really cool work, lots of machinery and stonework. And I got a taste for everything. He's actually got an architect degree, I think, so he's got a background in design, which was cool. It sort of stepped us up into that next level of work, if you know what I mean by that.
So were you doing other people's designs as well, or was he doing all the design?
No, he was doing all of it. So it wasn't anything like crazy high end, but it was like above your average sort of yards that you're working in. And yeah, he did do a lot of design, a lot of drawing too by hand. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good start to the career.
Yeah, I've said a few times that the people who do hand drawings are usually the most creative.
Yeah, he's definitely a creative fella. So if you ever got to meet him, he's pretty wild. He has a few beers and has a good time. So
And what size crew was there?
It varied. So when I signed up with him, there was 3 of them plus me, and it grew to another 2, so maybe 6 or 7, and then it shrunk again back to the 4 of us. It was always around that 4 or 5 mark, though. Yeah, it was a good sized crew, and he was on the tours with us every day.
And you said you worked for a couple of years after getting qualified with him?
Yeah, so I stayed on for about 2 years with him. which is good because you sort of learn more in that period anyway, sort of get thrown in the deep end a bit. Yeah, I stayed with him for a few years until I went overseas and sort of come back and everything had changed. So that was where that journey ended. But
And where to then?
Another local fella, Harmony Landscapes, which is here on the coast as well. So I'd worked for site design and he'd contracted us in to do work for him. So I knew him through that. And when I got back from Europe, I just wanted a change. So I hit the owner of that company up and he took me on, and it was sort of, everyone was happy, and I just moved on really. And yeah, I wasn't with him very long. I did about a year and then went out on my own basically when COVID kicked off. Yeah.
And were they doing the same level of work?
So Harmony was, they were a little bit bigger, I guess you could say, a little more high end. He does a lot of like private schools and stuff like that as well. But yeah, he does. Yeah, it was just sort of that next step up. It was just different where he contracts a lot of his work out. And so I was sort of back in that role almost like a gardener again, like doing softscapes and not being on the tools, which I sort of wasn't a fan of. I like building. So yeah, stayed with him for a year or year and a half. Yeah.
And then, so when you started your business, was that after COVID started?
I can't really remember, like, so say COVID kicked off around Christmas, I think it was, when it was starting to get serious, or just before, whenever it was. But we went into the new year and he was renovating his house and work had got quiet, and he'd already let me start doing half weeks. I was doing like half with him, half with myself, which was really nice. Like, he helped me out massively. And yeah, start of the year, he was doing renos. COVID was slowing things down. So yeah, I won a job that went for 4 days. I was like, all right, I'm out. And yeah, never looked back.
Cool. So how were you getting work?
Social media was pretty big. Before I went on that Europe trip, I'd been doing a lot of cashies. I'd moved into like a local housing estate, like where we built our first house. And I'd built a few decks for people and just word of mouth through social media on that. And I'd gathered photos, and yeah, just one led to another. It was a lot of decks. I think I did a year of just building decks every weekend. So
oh, that would be enjoyable considering you wanted to be a carpenter.
Yeah, no, I loved it. So it was good, and they just got bigger progressively, and yeah, just the timing, it was just good. Yeah.
So what sort of timber most of the decks that you build?
A lot on the coast. I don't know if you guys call it Merbau or Quilla, but
Merbu.
Yeah, a lot of the decks on the coast of that. Yellow Blau is another one, or spotted gum.
Yep.
So they're probably the three main timbers that get used up here, which I did a lot of, and now we use composite decking a lot now. So yeah, it's been a good change. But
what's the reason people are choosing that? Is that the maintenance side of things, or is it? I
think so. Most people, yeah, most clients, you're probably the same. Everyone just wants maintenance free. So I think the colors as well, like you can really like help the landscape with the color of the decking. So yeah.
I've only built one of them, but do they get hot?
Yeah. That's probably everyone's first question. They do. Like, it's plastic, and if it's just in the sun, but it's not unbearable. I mean, if you sit on a deck that's been in the sun all day, it's still hot. So yeah, I don't mind it.
So what would you do at your house? Would you do timber or composite?
Yeah, I did timber at the last one. I'll do composite at this one. I just got sick of sanding it every year and staining it. And there's a certain brand that's got a really blonde color that's going to go well, like match the stone. And
I did a timber deck at my house, and the new one I'm doing paving. So just nothing at all to do with decks, because there's paving is a lot less maintenance. Yeah,
I'll do that out the front, but out the back we've got like septic and tanks that need to be accessed, so the decks come in handy there. And
and I saw that you do design as well. So did you learn that off the guys you're working for?
A little bit, yeah. Andy at Site Design had sort of like entered into that world with me and sort of started to show me, but it was something that I always wanted to do. And my partner, she was studying interior design and she dabbled in it as well. So she sort of, she likes to say she taught me, but I sort of just, we did one design together and I loved doing it. So I started offering that to people. I've since learned how much I suck at the design. So I've found other ways to get it, like whether it's I outsource it. I don't know. Have you heard of Pitchbox?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've used them now twice, where I still design it, but you then pass it on to them and they bring it to life in 3D aspect. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like they do even 2D, so you can just send them
yeah,
something really basic and then they can do it professionally.
you have to do that much design for them to change it into 3D. You might as well just do it. Like I had to do the whole 2D sketch to scale, and but it works great. So
it's surprising how many people you realise that subcontract the 3D part of the designs out. There's almost hardly anyone does it themselves because the amount of time that goes into it and machines you need for it.
Yeah, especially the nice looking ones that you can't even tell they're 3D. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm interested in staying like aligned with, but I probably won't do it myself.
Yeah. Were you using SketchUp initially? Because I think I saw one on your when I was scrolling back in.
Yeah, it's done a few with that, and then a large job I won earlier in the year, we moved into Pitchbox just to sort of get it over the line and have that more professional look.
Yeah.
And just the time, I was doing my head in, just hours every night trying to design it. So
do you have any designers that you flick work to, and vice versa? Do they send it back your way?
Not so much yet. I've got one architect that designed a job we did earlier in the year that I've sort of now aligned myself with, and we're going to try and work together in the future. But it's still a very early days in that aspect of my business. I'm trying to, that's a big goal for next year, is to, reach out to designers or builders, developers, just, try and go down that road as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how early into the business did the full landscape start, like rather than just doing decks?
Probably a little over 2 years ago. I did a good year of just working solo, decks, bits of paving, just things you can do on your own. And then I knew where I wanted to go. So a mate of mine, well, a guy that worked at Site Design, his mate was looking for an apprenticeship. So gave him a run, and it just sort of worked out. I had enough that I could take him on. So it was he's just entered his 3rd year. So 2 years ago, basically, it all started. Yeah.
And how many staff do you have now?
There's the 3 boys and myself, and then my partner helps with the books as well. Yeah.
Is she helping with designs as well?
Not so much anymore. She did for a couple there, but I was doing it more so late at night, just in my time, I guess. So she helps with pay nights and all the fun stuff. So yeah.
And what are the other 2 guys? Are they both apprentices as well, or
no? So we got one landscaper, one apprentice, and a labourer.
Oh, nice, good balance.
And the labourer, he should be an apprentice, but he won't. So he's just staying as a labourer. So he's good, but yeah. And
do you only have like one job going at once where you're all working on it?
No, the last sort of 6 months we've moved into 2 or 3 at once, which has been crazy. I thought it'd be a good idea, and it's just chaos, but it's good. So we've generally got 2 on the go, and we throw in little ones like little stone jobs or little ones we can fit in between. But trying to get that, maybe next year move into 2 crews and have 2 or 3 jobs always happening.
Yeah, it's someone said it. I don't know how long ago, but you're always trying to find the right balance of the amount of jobs you got on, but you'll never get perfect. But I always prefer to have on too many than not enough, because you're better off having the clients getting upset at you than you sitting at home because you can't do any work because the one job that you're working on gets delayed for whatever reason. Then you've got nowhere else you can go.
Yeah, exactly. Like in rain days, if you can try to win an undercover job or something where duck away to, it's good, but it's just this time of year, all the clients are freaking out. They want it done. We got 6 weeks to go. So
I've got pretty lucky. Our jobs are all getting delayed. So it's not lucky for the clients, but lucky for me. So there's no chance of finishing any of them even in January, let alone Christmas. So
I got sort of unlucky, but like I've got 2 that were happy to get pushed back to next year because I didn't want to make a start and leave it over Chrissy. So we've got one large job to finish off, and we've just started, and a couple little ones. So it's not too much of a hectic run. Yeah.
And I haven't been booking in work for next year early-ish either, because I never knew what was going to happen. So it's not like there's other jobs because usually if one job pushes back, you've already got one booked in there, and so just domino effect. But it's taken me 14 years to work out just to do it slowly. So because you can always get more work, when you get to a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always unsure like how the Christmas period would go. Like last year was the first real year where I had guys on wages and holiday pay, and it was very scary sort of going into Chrissy, and I wasn't that busy. Like I was just had one job lined up, and that sort of first 2 or 3 months was pretty chaos, just trying to line back up work. But this year's been pretty big in business. So like next year's, looking good. And not as much quoting happening at the moment, which is nice.
Yeah. You don't charge for quotes, do you?
No, I'd love to, but no. At the moment, I'm happy I still like going out and meeting people. It still excites me. So I like going out and doing it.
And you're still learning, like honing your craft as well in terms of,
100%. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when you first start out, everything's so intimidating, but as you go on, you sort of just slide into the role a little easier. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I've said it a million times, but the best landscaper I know told me early on, just make things up as you go and just do things with confidence.
I always said the same. I just fake it till you make it. But like when I got that job with site design, he's like, "You ever driven a machine?" I was like, "Yeah." I'd never looked at one. So handed me a quick cut one day to cut concrete up, and I was no idea what was happening. Just hold on for dear life.
Yeah. You've got to back yourself in if you do something, but so you can't go too extreme. But that's the best way to learn, is to throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, how is your apprentice? Does he learn on site, or does he go after school one day a week?
No, he's on site full time. So I think he's 21 now as well. So he's out of school full time. He does have like little weeks here and there where he'll go to TAFE and do paperwork or whatever he does, but 90% of it's on site, some online. But he's just on site every day with me.
And what's the TAFE like? Are you like, is he coming back with things and you're thinking, oh yeah, I didn't know that, or is it everything he's learning you could have taught him anyway?
Yeah, I think the schooling part of it's pretty shit, to be honest. It was when I was an apprentice as well. I hated it. Like I went to TAFE and just watched what they were doing. It's just, it's wild. But he learns pretty much everything on site. So, I mean, they come out and teach him how to use a dumpy, which I don't know why, because I've never even used one. So,
they taught me that 20 years ago. Yeah, they were useless back then.
Yeah. It's a little bit backwards, but hopefully that'll improve. Like I've always been pretty keen to see the landscape industry sort of like go out and be recognised for what it is, sort of thing. But we'll see what happens. Yeah,
it's certainly going in the right direction, but everything happens really slow, especially like in terms of building codes and that sort of thing, and recognising it, because there's so many other trades as well involved in the construction industry.
It's always just like everyone hears landscape and I think you plant plants and mow lawns. So I'm pretty keen to like show what we can do. So
earlier on you said you knew where you wanted to go. So what sort of plans did you have for the business? Like, did you always want to have your own business?
Pretty much. I always knew, like I always had a goal by the time I was the age I am now, that I'd be sort of working for myself. And I think getting in with those guys that I worked with earlier on, it sort of showed me what we could do, and I never wanted to go backwards. Like when I first started out, I didn't take on shitty little jobs that I wouldn't want to like show online or post. So I always knew I wanted to do higher end stuff. Like Dean, like Rolling Stone, like that was a big influence, seeing stuff he was doing, like big resort like pools, and I always wanted to be in the pool area as well. Like, and that's what we do now, is a lot of pool space renovation. So I always knew where I wanted to be, and I'm still heading there. But
like, have you got a business plan or anything, or something that are you setting goals for yourself?
Not so much that I'm writing anything down. It's just mentally like I'm planning to get the pool builder's license. That'd be a big thing, and start incorporating that into our jobs, where we not only work around a pool, but we install the pool as well. So that's definitely a big goal. And just have probably another 2 members on the team, so I'm not on site as much. I want to be able to, or if I am, I can go on one site and be there and not have to worry about the other site, sort of thing. Like I still want to be working. I still enjoy it. So that's the goal. Is the biggest goal would be pools.
Yep. Yeah. And would you put on a designer?
Yeah, I think if it called for it, I still like to be involved in that too. Like I sort of like doing all aspects of it.
Yeah,
I'd rather have designers come to me and say, look, we've got this, do you want to build it? I'd love to do that. Sort of similar to what you do, I guess. You get to build really cool designs. So I'd love to go down that road. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep. Have you thought of, or do you have a business coach or thought of getting one?
Nah, I haven't. I mean, I've heard people talk about them, and I sort of enjoying learning as I go. Maybe if things skyrocket and I get out of control busy, it might be something to look at. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy just learning as I do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have any mentors or anything that you bounce ideas off?
Not really. I mean, my last 2 employees, I still call them if I have an issue, but I don't want to be annoying. So yeah. I try and just wing it myself. But yeah, they're the 2 I go to if I have any issues. So
then what's the landscape industry like? Is it pretty chummy with other companies?
Yes, up here it's pretty good on the coast. Like, everyone's pretty friendly. I joined the Landscape Queensland Association last year when things started getting busier, and since then it's been cool just networking. And I did have an issue with some tiles on a job, and got in contact with another crew and he helped me resolve it. So it's pretty friendly on the coast. Yeah.
Hey, going back to the because you're doing pools and tiling. So are all your paving around the pool, do you use like tiles, or is it stone?
So I always notice that looking at guys down your way, you always seem to lay pavers, I guess you call them, on mortar.
Yeah.
So we use, a lot of the stuff I do is stone, and we use tile glue.
Natural stone?
Yeah. Yep. So they'll be, generally people will choose it like a 12 mil stone or a 30 mil coping. But so we always have different levels between the coping and the surrounds, but most of our work is with natural stone, not so much any pavers or anything like that.
And do you any porcelain?
Yeah, I try not to. I hate it. Lots of people do it though, obviously for costs, like it's a lot cheaper. And we do it, but I try and push people into the stone.
Yeah. It's rock hard, the porcelain. It's so dense.
We did one last week, and just cutting it, like, I can't use a tile cutter to save my life, so I still use a grinder or a brick saw, and
So what do you do in terms of having the coping different to the main body of the paving? Do you you have the pool shell all done, and will you lay the coping and then put a screed in above the concrete?
Yeah, so we will, if we know it's going to be like that, we'll lay the coping and then we'll pour our concrete halfway up or whatever it needs to be to make up the difference. Yeah.
And you aim to do your under paving slabs perfectly so then you can just tile straight onto them?
Yeah, I want to be tiling just. Yeah. If I don't need a straight edge, I don't need just follow the slab sort of thing. Yeah. So
and you do the concreting yourself?
Yeah. Cool. That was a big thing back where I used to work. We did it all, so I sort of feel confident doing that, and all the boys picked it up pretty quick. I still have mates that are concreters that will come help us on bigger pours, but we pretty much do everything on site ourselves. Yeah.
And do you do any waterproofing or anything to the slab before you tile on it?
Depending on what we're laying, we'll use primers basically, but not so much a waterproofer unless it's on a wall. But
so just to help it stick to the slab.
Yeah.
What sort of stone do you like using? What would you use if you were putting a pool in?
I don't know. I'm sort of torn up here. It's very different style to what you guys have. I see you guys use a lot of bluestone and darker colors, where we use travertine. A linen colored travertine is probably the most popular up here, so I sort of like it too. It's similar to the color behind me. I'd probably use it. I like the color, but I love the bluestones and stuff you guys use as well. So
it's going out of fashion. I never will, because it's endemic to here, but it's it gets a bit boring using the same thing over again. So now it seems like everything's sort of limestone at the moment.
I just literally every job for the last year and a half, it's the same stone 90% of the time. I guess it's when you're advertising too, people see what you use and then they want that. So that's an important point. You want to, it depends how you're wanting to run your social media, but you want to post projects that you want to do more of. So if you're posting, the same stone every time, that's what people think that you're the man to do. So that sort of dictates what jobs I like doing as well. Like if I'll try and go for the ones where I know it's going to look good and it's different. So as soon as those jobs come along, I love taking on a new type of job. Yeah.
And you mentioned before the stone behind you, because there's a fireplace behind you, which has got like a limestone, natural stone cladding on there. So did you learn that? Were you doing stone cladding for the guys you worked for? Or is that something you learned for yourself?
Yeah, so the first crew site design he's got a little bit of a stonemason background, and we did a lot of proper, like not stone cladding, proper stonework, so bluestone and sandstone. We did a fair bit, and I sort of loved it. I picked it up, probably out of everything, I picked that up the best. So him and I used to do a lot of weekend work together doing that, and then stone cladding's come into fashion, and it's even easier.
Do you look at other people's work and thinking, "Oh, I wouldn't have done like that"?
Yeah, fair bit. Yeah.
What about crazy paving? Do you do much of that?
Yeah, we've started to do a fair bit of that. It hasn't been huge, but there's a few stone suppliers up here where I did a display for them in their showroom, and that's led to a few jobs where it's becoming more popular. It's just this last 6 months, stone has gone crazy on the coast. So every job, people are wanting to include it somehow.
Yeah. What sort of stone are they using for the crazy paving?
Same thing. So that one was the same travertine. I don't know if you've used that down there, but it's just the same 12 mil honed finish. And then we did a white one. I don't know if you saw it on a little courtyard where we did like a little floating concrete seat. It had a white crazy pave. It was like a crystally quartz sort of stone. Oh. But yeah, they're the main two that people have been choosing up here. Again, I haven't used any bluestone or anything yet. So
how did that quartz stuff go? Did that break where you wanted it to?
Not really. So I always try and stay away from grinders and stuff when we're doing the stonework. As much hammer and bolster work as you can, but that stuff, it was cutting it and then just roughing it up, and it just sort of splintered.
Yeah, that sounds that's why I asked the question. It sounds like that's what I thought it would do. And bluestone is similar. It doesn't break anywhere near where you want it to.
Right. Yeah.
But I find like people initially didn't want to use grinders for crazy paving, but it all depends on how you use the grinder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So marble, tile, and stone. I think I'm going to have him on. He's Tyler in Western Australia, and he's the best at crazy paving I've ever seen. Like I've got a heap of random rules I like doing and not doing when I'm doing crazy paving.
Yeah.
And one of them is if a paver breaks, you can't lay it where it was, because I don't like seeing the perfect joint where you can see that it's broken and it's the same piece.
Yeah.
And his stuff looks like that because he's that good at grinding and matching the joint. So it's insane. So
there's definitely guys that can do it. Like there's I think it's Byron-based Stone Masonry, I think is their name. They do really nice crazy pave, like no little bits, just full stone pieces, no triangles. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, that's like, it's funny because you're at your own certain level of skill, and then you look at people who aren't quite at it and think that looks horrible. So and you imagine the people who are right at the top end. I mean, they'll look at everything and vomit when they look at it.
Yeah, I think it's good though. I think like social media is cool for that. Like you can see different styles and you sort of pick that up and try it. And it's good being able to do what everyone does. Yeah,
it's a great way of learning as well, and pushing your own skills.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's your favourite part about landscaping, because there's so many different parts involved?
I don't know. It used to be just seeing the end result, seeing the transformation. I love the before and after photos. I still enjoy pretty much every aspect, but doing the stonework, I'm loving that at the moment. But just the bigger jobs, I think, and meeting people. I don't know. I don't know what I like. I just like it all.
Just everything.
I'm still just enjoying work. So
that's good.
Yeah.
You want to keep it like that as long as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew, but my old boss, he started his business. He tried to start up in Caloundra on the Sunshine Coast as well. So we went up there and worked on a couple of jobs in Cooroy and Gympie.
Oh yeah.
And when we were up there, I don't know how long it's been going, but because I saw this on your story just the other day. But there's an estate called Pelican Waters.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had just started at the time, but it looked like super fancy because all these properties are built on the water.
People.
Yeah, right. So did you do much work in there?
We've started to win a few little jobs in there. Yeah, we're doing a pretty crazy. We're sort of not doing the landscape. We're doing the tiling and the stonework, but an architect has designed a pretty wild pool down there. But yeah, that's probably the biggest job we've got down there. And where I was working this morning doing a fireplace down there, that was in Pelican Waters. So we haven't done too much in there, but yeah, it's a nice area. It's just a bit out of the way. And
Yeah.
just
How far is that from where you're
it's probably
based?
like from Caloundra, it's close, but it's 40 minutes from where I live.
Yep.
Yeah.
How far do you travel?
Pretty much an hour is about as far as we'll go, like South Caloundra and right up to Noosa. I haven't really done much up at Noosa, but I will go there.
I'd go there too if anyone's interested. You might want some work done.
Yeah, no, it's a sick area and there's lots of money to be spent up there. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I went up there on holiday, and then I was like, and it was in winter. Oh yeah, I don't mind up here. I might have a look at some of the house prices.
Yeah.
And I did the filter cheapest to highest.
Yeah.
I think the cheapest was like 3.7 million in Noosa. I thought, yeah, maybe we'll have to save up a bit more.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'd want to live there, but it's good to visit. But,
yeah, it might be a bit hot in summer, I reckon.
Yeah. Yep.
So I saw some of the, like your projects, like they do, you've got a bit of everything on there. Is there anything that you subby out to get done?
Yep. Glass fencing.
Yep.
Don't want to touch it. I've had a few panels explode on me, so I just stay away from that. I mean, I've got a little excavator, but I'll subby out the earth moving if it's more than what, like if I need a loader or anything to bulk out materials. Yeah, other than that, we try to do everything else. So yeah.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, it helps keep busy that way as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I like. I like these larger jobs where there's weeks and weeks of work. We can have little aspects going on it all the time. So it helps everyone get skilled and yeah.
Yeah. I reckon that's a good, like I hadn't thought about it before, because people are either talking about, you should sub out as much as you can, or you should do it all. But it's probably good to do it all when you're starting. So that, and then you can build up work, and then when you've got enough work, then you can start to sub it out and find out who's good subbies.
Yeah. I think until I don't like doing it, I'll just keep doing it. I enjoy building. So I know there's other guys on the coast that I've seen that stubbied out everything from the second they started business. And yeah, I don't know, if you don't enjoy it, why do it, sort of thing.
Yeah. That's why I get other people to do excavation for us as much as possible.
I saw that on one of your posts, but
I hate it.
I bought an excavator at Christmas time, just when we moved into this place. Really, like I got a lot of work to do here, so that's what I told my missus. Like that was why we needed one. So it has helped out. I don't use it probably as often as I should. It helps with demos on jobs when we first get there, but it's handy to have. So
yeah, are you using it a lot more than like you wouldn't rent one? So you're still using it, but you wouldn't rent one?
I still use. I wouldn't rent any now. Like it's a 1.7 ton Hitachi. I've got a little tipper truck, so it just goes on the back of that if I need it. And yeah, I'll definitely use it. Like we've got a full rent. I'll use it for a week doing all the prep work, and then probably at the end loading. I still load barrows with it. It just makes things faster. But yeah, I'm not sort of massive in an earthworks sort of business or retaining walls or anything. So
yeah,
it's not a huge necessity.
What's the hitch on it like? Is that got the quick hitch so you don't need to get out and
so all that. So it's just flick a button and change everything, which has been cool. I know I've seen you say that you don't like issues with them. So I had it probably about 2 weeks, and I started ripping out the front yard, and it was Christmas holidays, and within an hour snapped off a hydraulic hose, fluid went everywhere. I have no idea about machines, so I just left it there for about 3 weeks till it could get fixed. That's probably the only issue I've had so far. But yeah, that was a good one.
Have you got do you get it maintained, and have you got like a maintenance schedule where you're doing things like cleaning filters and that sort of thing?
Yeah, do that and just cleaning and greasing it and cleaning it. It hasn't done enough hours yet to do its first service, so it's still in new condition really. But yeah, I'll learn as I can. It doesn't interest me mechanics too much, so
yeah. Is it so nothing other than the hydraulic hose snapping off has happened since then?
Nothing major. I've got a huge scratch along the back of it that I tried to blame others, but it was me. I was turning and a big tree root scratched it. But yeah, other than that, it's good. Yeah. So
how often do you reckon you use it? Would it be every week or?
No, probably a week a month.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a job where we had it on site for the whole 6 weeks we were there, and we'd just use it here and there. We just went 3 weeks where it sat at home sort of thing. and now it's back on site. It'll probably do 2 or 3 days, and then it's not in use probably as much as it should be for what it costs, but it is handy just being able to use it when I want it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's not a bad thing if it depends how many jobs you got going that you're going to need it on at the same time, but it's not bad just having it on site, because then you will use it a lot more than.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, earth movers charge a bomb these days. So
yeah,
a mate of mine runs an earth moving business, and yeah, the price is just like, so I get to see what his prices do and like chat to him, and they just go up and up and up. So yeah, so you save a lot of money, like especially if they got minimums, like they come out for an hour's work and charge you 4 hours sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
they go and do that 3 times in the 3 different jobs in that day.
Yeah, then they go home. So.
Yeah. What about staff? Do you do anything outside of work to train them up or keep them happy?
I don't train them up, but I keep them happy. I got a pretty young crew. I'm 30. Everyone else is 25 or under. So yeah, we have a bit of fun together. We do a yearly camping trip up at Fraser Island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, go there for a week. Christmas parties are always big, but yeah, we always have Friday beers and just try and keep the morale high. And yeah, everyone gets along. Like everyone can socialize outside of work, which is good. Yeah.
So other than the first guy who came from your past workmate, how have you got your staff?
So the other one, Nick, who's now the tradesman, he was working for another guy, and that his employee hit me up, said, "I'm running out of work. Can you take him?" So it sort of worked out that way.
Yeah, nice.
And then the labourer, Doss, is just one of his mates that he'd done a bit of landscaping in the past, and I needed another set of hands. So yeah, he's at uni, but yeah, he does half weeks. So yeah.
Oh, that works out well. So then you can plan things around the days that he can be there.
Yeah, so there's 3 of us that are full-time every single day, and then he's there at least 2 or 3 days a week. And I think he's on holidays now for the rest of the year, so he's with me every day. So
yeah, cool. So have you ever been back to the Central Coast to work down there?
Not to work. I still got heaps of mates down there, and a couple of them are landscaping themselves. But yeah, I haven't done any work. So yeah, no, staying up here for now.
Have you had a lot of rain up there as well this year?
Yeah, start of the year we had like crazy weather, a bit of flooding. We got really lucky. Like we just timed most of our jobs were either undercover or could do in the rain. But yeah, this summer is meant to be really wet, but so far it's been good. So yeah, just hopefully no holdups and get it done. And yeah, I just want to get through to Christmas and not have any more delays. And
yeah, are you having time off? Like when's your?
Yeah, we'll probably work right up till Chrissy, just unless things are complete. I have planned that this large job we're on now will be done, so I'll make sure it gets completed, and then yeah, we'll have 3 weeks off, I guess. And we did 4 weeks last year, but I think that 1 week was just a little bit too long. So
you don't need it. Yeah,
you sort of just, I don't know, you don't want to go back after that 4th week. 3 weeks, you're like, yeah, keen to go back. But no, I'm pretty keen for next year. Just like we did the awards, went down and did that. So I've got a few jobs next year lined up that I know I want to enter into that. And yeah.
That's right. I nearly forgot about that. What was the award that you got just a couple of weeks ago?
So I don't know. It's sort of like a participation. No, we got highly commended for our project. So they have them in price categories, and we were 50 to 75K. And yeah, so there was an overall winner, and then we got highly commended, which was cool. So
that's pretty good still.
Yeah, no, I was stoked. Definitely had too many beers that night. So yeah, the memory's vague, but it was a good night. But yeah, we were stoked with an award. So hopefully next year we can enter a few more. And yeah, it's just cool seeing everyone's work and yeah, what they do. Yeah.
So that's when Joe Nagel from Definition, he won the top gong then, didn't he?
Yeah, that job was sick too. That was a really nice project. Yeah, his work's epic. I really like watching what he does. I'd love to win a few jobs like that. But yeah, I know it's sort of that city style, I guess. Like not many people up here that I contact with want that. So yeah, everyone's still stuck in that. They want just coastal and just very tropical. But yeah, his work is epic. So
yeah, he used to do a lot of walkarounds of his projects, but because he does some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I enjoy watching that. I think there's another one in Brizzy, Everscapes. Have you seen those?
Yeah, he's been on the podcast.
Yeah, they do insane work too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they're doing a water feature at the moment, which I don't know if they've finished it, but it looks pretty. It's insane. Looks like it's going down steps.
Is that with all the mosaics through
Yeah,
it? Yeah, that's wild. We've just done like a infinity edge on a pool with all the mosaics. So I can't. That was hard enough. I can't imagine doing a whole water feature out of it. Yeah.
So did you lay the tiles? Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you do pool tiling?
Yeah, that's probably the most in depth I've done. We always do waterline tiles and the coating, but then this one had the spar and an infinity edge involved as well. So yeah, that was the first one of those. But yeah, as I say, I've tried to put my hand to anything. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, that's pretty. So you could do a whole pool?
Yeah, I sort of. Yeah, I think I could. I sort of. I don't know how they do it and make it look that good. Like
yeah. Well, some do and some don't.
Both sides and over the top was hard enough getting like your render right and just it was good, but I don't know how you do a whole pool.
Yeah, but that'd be a pretty valuable skill to have because I know in Victoria pool tilers are really hard to come by.
Yeah, I'm just trying to associate our brand with pools as much as I can, knowing that that's where I want to be in the future. So that's why a lot of our work at the moment is pool renovation. So I sort of set out this year to do that. So yeah, it sort of worked. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's smart. Yeah, like your Instagram page, there's just about a pool on every project. So
I know. My missus says I'll try and post photos that don't have the pool in it, just so it's not too repetitive. But
but if you want to do that, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. So it's hard. Like I want to, but I don't want to be stuck in that niche. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the social media is a funny game to try and get good at it.
Do you enjoy doing it?
Yeah, I do. It's hard, but I do. And like just recently, I've started getting like photos of work done professionally, just so like my brother-in-law does it and edits them for me, and
yeah, cool.
But it makes your job look a lot better, and social media is huge. So I think you might as well put the effort into to make it look good.
Yeah, it blows me away. Some photos, like I've seen a photo. I thought the project doesn't even look that good in person, so I don't know how it looks that good in a photo.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen, so I try and make them look. The job's good in real life too, but it's definitely important. I think, So you got to have fun with it, like all your videos that you do.
There's different ways. So some people like to do things really professionally and keep it, keep a certain theme and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just random and do whatever because I don't care.
Yeah, I've sort of chopped and changed. I sort of just want to I'm still trying to build the brand, so I'll try and keep it looking as smart as I can for a while. And I'm sort of in the midst of updating logo, new website, and everything, and just trying to prepare for what I want to happen, like, and go into that next step of business, I guess. Yeah. So,
well, it's good to have, like, you've got not so much. You've got a few specific goals, but it's good to have an overall goal that you're wanting to head towards. So. Yeah, not like I was when I started out and I was just taking on any job, doing whatever. So you actually, you've got a direction you're wanting to head towards. Yeah,
I was saying that to my missus before. Like I didn't take on little random ones sort of on purpose. I would have rather not make money for a while and not get stuck doing that. Because same thing, if I started posting, I laid this lawn and some timber edging, then someone else would want that. And
we did that exact thing yesterday. We did some lawn and timber edging. Because for a client we've done a couple of big jobs for. So you didn't see that on my Instagram though.
There's a few jobs that don't go up there, but try and pick and choose what you can. But
last question for you. Like I did have another question, but I can't remember what it is. So we'll go with the final question. Who would you recommend as a good guest to have on the podcast?
I think if you hit up Lee from Living Style Landscapes up here on the Sunshine Coast.
Okay.
In my opinion, they're the top dogs on the coast.
All right.
They do the nicest work. So definitely, hit them up and see what he has to say.
So have you done any work with them or did you just see the stuff they do?
I've talked to him. I know he's heavily involved in the Landscape Queensland Association. Yeah, they just do epic work.
Are they Living Style Co and Stone?
Yeah, so he's got Living Style Co. So he's got a stone and a landscape side of it and pools as well, I believe.
Yeah, nice. All right, I will do that.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming on. It's nice to talk to you. Yes,
Thanks.
Sunshine Coast is my favourite part of the world. So even if I can't be there, it's nice to talk to someone who is there.
Yeah,
Thanks very much for coming on.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.